Hi, everyone. Welcome to Domain Sherpa. We've got an awesome Domain Sherpa review coming up today. We've got Shane back on the show along with Braden and Ammar. We play the domain game featuring NFTprinter.com, Cubics.com, and Nowhere.net. We also have the Namejet and a Jet segment sponsored by Namejet, and we talk about some domains coming up for auction such as VIP.org, AffiliateLeads.com, and ReggieBush.com. And with that one, we get into a convo about whether or not buying domains of famous people's names is a good strategy. Spoiler alert. It isn't. We also talk about what tools some of the Sherpas use for managing their domain portfolios, as well as a bunch of other stuff. And as always, big shout out to Dan.com, the #1 place in the world to buy and sell your domains with a special platform made for domain investors. So it's time to make it happen right here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. So let's go. What's up, Sherpa Network? Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Jonathan Tenenbaum, aka JT, aka Jay On, and I am the host and producer of Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Today's show is a Domain Sherpa review, where we get into the minds of successful domain investors using real examples so we can learn strategies and tactics to become more successful domain name investors ourselves. As we say on every show, these are the experts. There are 4 segments to a Domain Sherpa review. We've got the grand opening. That's where I intro all the Sherpas. We do the AKAs. We see what's going on with them. And we kind of talk about some related items, maybe some unrelated stuff as well. Then we get into the domain game, and that's where we hear what the Sherpas have recently bought or sold. Everybody guesses. We keep score. We give out some swag to the winner. Then we have the Namejet and a Jet segment. I'm not rocking my Namejet shirt, but usually I am. And that's where we review a list of domains coming up for auction on Namejet. And we see what the Sherpas like and what they don't like and all that good stuff. And then finally, last but not least, if we have any time left over, we'll get into our grand closing segment, which is where we discuss anything we haven't covered already, what's going on in the domain space, looking at the market trends, current events, allowing our guests to mention or promote anything we want to talk about and haven't already discussed. So really quick, big shout out Dan.com, our key sponsor. We've got Namejet, as I mentioned, but Dan.com is the best platform for domain investors to buy and sell their domain names, and they keep continuing to innovate and come out with really, really dope stuff. So if you guys are into domains and you're not utilizing Dan.com, you're probably doing yourself a disservice. So please go check that out and help yourself. Help yourself. We're just trying to help you, help y'all. So, okay, now it's time to introduce the Sherpas. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start over to my right, back by popular demand. What up, what up? We've got my boy Sugar Shane Cultra, a.k.a. Honey Shane, a.k.a. Mike Rowe, a.k.a. The Walk of Shane. You know what I'm saying? So let's go. He was just telling us offline that he walks more miles every day than he drives. So I thought that was a pretty quick, The Walk of Shane. You know what I'm saying?
He walks more miles every day than you do your entire life.
Well, that's very possible. I run a lot. You know what I mean? I don't walk much. I run. I'm going very fast from spot to spot. That seems to be kind of the way that.
As long as it's faster than 9-minute miles, that's not. We don't call that running. We call it jogging.
Yeah. Yogging. I believe the J is silent.
Yogging. But I took SugarShane.eth just because of you.
Oh, let's go, baby. That's what's up, man. I love it.
Yeah, I didn't have a nickname. I figured that's as good as any of them. It's not like it hasn't been taken by like 17 celebrities. Sugar Shane Mosley.
Hey, but when I look at it like level of importance, you know what I'm saying? Shane Mosley, Shane Cultra, you know what I'm saying? Like,
if he wants to buy it, he can talk to me. We'll deal.
You just hope he doesn't want to fight you over it. I just saw the clip of Mike Tyson being annoyed on an airplane to the point that he started throwing punches at somebody. And, man, it's like seemed well-deserved for the guy that was being a big, pain in the ass, like bugging him. And it's like, I think even Tyson himself has said, it's like social media has given people the perception or the belief that they can just say whatever they want without getting punched in the face. And you know what? Sometimes people need to get punched in the face. Like, that's what it is,
Yeah, and Tyson at 100 still will knock you out. So
I'm actually worried for Iron Mike, man. Like, that's like a different level of assault, I think, right? Because it's like, if I start swinging on somebody, it's one thing. Mike starts swinging on somebody, it's like you might as well, I might as well be shooting somebody. You know what I mean? Like, it is deadly weapons, man. But,
And nobody expects to get hurt when you hit them, though. See, that's why.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, they will. They don't expect it, but they will.
Like a tickle.
Tyson, it's like, man, he just looks at you the wrong way. And you're like, all of a sudden, you're like, you wake up tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, that shit was crazy. But anyway, so Shade has been off the show for a minute, so we're super psyched to have him back in the mix. And appreciate you, bro. And really looking forward to diving in and talking some domain talk. Today is a domain show, so for you domain maxis out there, this is your jam.
I'm still doing it. It doesn't. Yeah, I have many loves. I got many loves.
Well, you know, and that's what I think is interesting. We've always sort of, you know, been banging that drum since last year when NFTs really, you know, kind of really took over a lot of stuff. But it's like, you know, domains for us are still the bread and butter. It's still like, you know, still so much of our mind share and our time and everything else. And, you know, it's
mine's plants. I mean, I spend 80 hours a week doing plants. So even domains weren't my first love. I got another business. So I can like I say, I can love a lot of things.
Yeah,
you can put it.
You lover, not a fighter, man.
Time.
Man, that's what's up, man. I was interviewed the other day, and they're like, "Are you a lover or a gangster?" You know, that's actually what they said. And I was like, man, I'm a gangster because I'm just trying to get stuff done. I don't have time to sit back, but I do love a lot of things as well. I think that's, you know, that's an interesting statement. And, you know, well, for domains, as we've said, you know, they're the original digital assets and they are the segue for a lot of us into crypto and into NFTs. In fact, if it wasn't for domains, we probably never would have gotten into NFTs like we did. And, you know,
absolutely.
So
even my nursery wouldn't be doing as well because the domains provided the capital to buy some of the things at the nursery because I bought plant names. That's how I got into this thing. I was trying to protect the nursery from the internet, thinking, well, I'll just buy the plants. Turned out to be good brands, sold them. So it all just leads in a big circle. Staying ahead of the game gets you in the game.
And every ficus you buy, you get a free NFT with it. So, you know.
You get an NFT, non-fungible ficus.
Yeah, exactly. Carbon credit, an NFT with carbon credits.
Non-fungible tree. But speaking of plants, yesterday was, we're recording this on the 21st. Yesterday was 420. So happy 420 to everybody on here and out there in the universe. You know what I'm saying?
We had a sale on cannabis soil. If you needed some, what was it called? Potting soil.
Ooh,
we had
I like it. Yeah. I like it, man. The copyrights itself. You know what I mean? That's it. That's it. Let's go. Wormcastings.com too. Make sure you check that out. Beehouse.com. Artisan honey. It is some special stuff. And so Shane, back in the mix, man. Excited.
Appreciate being back.
Yeah. So let's keep it moving. And down to my lower right, we got my boy Braden Pollock, a.k.a. Tony Stark, a.k.a. Benjamin Button, a.k.a. Eat, Bray, Love. Speaking of love, you know what I'm saying? It's all love up in here. You know what I mean?
That one's really
good. I don't even need to intro you guys like officially with your bios, but you know, it's that's Braden's a man. If you don't know, you know, ask somebody, ask me, I'll tell you. I'm just not right now because we're talking about other things. So what's up, man? What's up?
Go ahead, finish your thought.
He is a domainer extraordinaire, angel investor, just a wonderful all around great guy, super successful, you know what I'm saying? He's on his speaking of plants, you know, we were just talk about, you know, Shane's Bronco, and you were saying it's not the perfect vehicle because it's not electric, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, you kind of speaking that truth for the environment and everybody else out there, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. That's something that people might not know, you know what I mean? But
a lot of new electric trucks coming out. I'm just waiting. I got deposits on 3 of them. I'm waiting.
Oh, which one?
F-150.
Which one are you trying to get? What do you?
I've got deposits on the Cybertruck, the Tesla Cybertruck.
Okay.
God knows when that's going to come out and what it's going to look like.
Yeah, not really a truck. Okay.
The Hummer, which is going to be like 2 years out.
All right.
And the Rivian, and the Rivian's really the one that I want. Although I'd buy the
Cybertruck comes out Thursday. I was
at
the Rivian plant on last Thursday. Got to see him. I'm not going to lie. It looks like a Honda Pilot. Exactly.
Wait, all right, hold on. First of all, I think it's kind of crazy that, you know, we bring this up, like, you know, we're just riffing and Shane's like, oh yeah, I was at the Rivian plant.
It's in Bloomington, Illinois. So I was giving a talk and I said, well, let me call a buddy and see if I can get in the Rivian plant. NDAs across the board. Like, no, you can't talk about anything in that plant.
You just did.
Yeah.
Now we all know it looks like
people can go there, but
they're actually on
product.
They're on the road now. People are driving around. They started delivering.
When I came up to, so it used to be called Mitsubishi Drive. Now it's called Rivian Drive. So you pull up definitely employees have it. Did not see an SUV though, not one SUV, only the trucks. The trucks were all over, but I didn't see the SUV. But it's great that we have a little small town that took over an old factory to make a new truck. Just an amazing story.
I love that. I think that's how the repurposing. I mean, malls becoming apartment condo complexes and things like that. Big box stores becoming indoor jump places for the kids. You know what I mean? Like little indoor amusement parks. Like, you see some of these things that continue to happen, and it's sort of like, and things move in cycles and whatever. But I think that's that stuff is great, and I love to see it. And interestingly, so we'll riff on this for like 30 seconds, and then we'll keep moving. But the electric vehicle stuff I think is interesting. I saw something today, and obviously Elon Musk is in the news for everything all the time. You got the Twitter stuff, all this crazy stuff happening with him. They were talking about Tesla on something that I read or saw or listened to, and but they were actually saying the price, Tesla demand went up when after the Super Bowl they had all these all these EV commercials for other brands that weren't Tesla. But I don't know if it's due to availability, reputation, you know what I'm saying, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I had a Tesla for a minute. I liked it, didn't love it. It was a little too small for me, and I didn't like any kind of drive that I had to do multiple charging stops. Was a real pain in the neck. But I do love some of the trucks. For me personally, I think the electric, the F-150, the Lightning looks fantastic. I think you got the new Silverado looks awesome. I drive a truck now, and I would actually love a hybrid would be perfect. But the vehicle that I think looks really cool is that Hyundai SUV that with Jason Bateman doing the commercials. It's got two-way charging and a whole bunch of other stuff that I just think like. It's just cool, I love what's happening with cars in general. But anyway, not to riff too much on it, but I do think that's cool. So Shane's been in the belly of the beast, with some of that intel.
Yeah, all this stuff is just changing so quickly. It's great to see it. It's everything you said you didn't like will all be better. Everything the charges will be longer.
Oh yeah. And look, quicker, and I got the baby, the Model 3, the shortest distance, you know what I mean? So it's like, you make certain sacrifices at the time when you purchase, so I knew that. But in practice, in reality,
you gotta sell those dogs for more money so you get the S, baby.
I know, man. There's no more dog money.
Patience would have gotten you an S. No, I'm just kidding. All right, we're all good. Let's keep moving.
Actually, the dog was a good sale, but now it's all about ApeCoin, man. You know what I'm saying? Now I just gotta let that ApeCoin seal. Let's get this staking proposal passed and give me some more ApeCoin.
Get you an S. So
guys, come on. Shout out to D Farmer. All right, no, but we're not going to get busy on the NFT talk. Let's keep it moving. These are just the intros. This is what y'all pay for. I know you're getting your money's worth, but let's go. Last, but certainly not.
If you don't like this, you should just skip forward like 20 minutes.
You know what I'll do? I mean, because people do ask that occasionally. They're like, can you just tell us when the domain talk actually begins? And it's like, this is like, you're getting gems. You're getting real. This is real life. This is kind of stuff. This is what is going to help you. Hey, at the end of the day, they say, right, you are a combination of like the people you spend the most time with, right? So I do think it's interesting when you talk about people listening to certain podcasts and watching certain shows and doing certain things like, and I just think being exposed, maybe not to me, but to, some really like spectacular gentlemen such as yourselves, I think is only good for the audience. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we're here. I'm just the vessel.
Or if you're like me and you do 26 things, one of those has to be interesting to somebody. You just have to filter through the 25 other words.
Hey, cast a wide net. It's all good. We're all just vibing. Right. I hope everybody's enjoying vibing with us. All right, now let's like I said, we're going to keep it moving. Last but certainly not least, down below, we got my boy Ammar Kubba, a.k.a. King Kubba, a.k.a. Danny Ocean, a.k.a. the even greater Gatsby, domain investor, angel investor, writer. Do not chase an unworthy dream, y'all. Do not chase an unworthy dream. And that's the even greater Gatsby. And so that's what's up. So what's happening, man? What's up? What's happening in Vegas?
Actually, I'm in LA right now. I just got back from Mexico last week. You were in San Miguel de Allende, which is right. I've never been there before. Really cool town, like off the beaten path. Great food, great architecture. It was nice.
Nice. You working out your drug connect and stuff like Ozark? I've been watching a lot of Ozarks. Now it's like, I know that's, you're like, I went down there for vacation. I worked out a few deals too. Like, what kind of deals you got going on down in, where did you say it was?
San Miguel de Allende.
San Miguel de Allende. I mean, that just sounds nice.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good, huh?
It just sounds
yeah.
dope, man. I love it.
We'll talk. We'll talk about the deals offline.
Hey, so yeah, look, I got the plug. Let's go. Yeah, Drew is out of town himself. He's off in the Maldives. So if anybody's following him on social, you'll see all his pictures and stuff. I've never been, like, to me, that's a tough spot to get to. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of travel, but interestingly enough, we've seen some of our friends from some Florida folks that we know. You know, I don't think I could afford to get all the way out there, but some other people have been traveling there. I mean, it looks amazing and crazy. I mean, it's beautiful. Have any of you guys been? Is that?
No, it's on the list though.
I would think Braden would have been up in there already. You know what I mean?
You would have thought.
I would have thought you would have done the exact trip like Drew, like, you know, but like the bungalow beach style special glamping type of thing out there. Like y'all went and did it big, you know, some shit that
I've
like
done that in other parts of the world, but it's a big world.
It is a big world. It is. There's a lot of great things to go and see. Get out of your house sometimes. Go outside and touch grass. Everything, all the great things happen online, but there are some things that do happen outside of the internet. So with that, bam, take your drink. You know what I mean? I think we covered a lot of ground. I think we covered it all in the intro. So let's just keep it moving. We're gonna go.
So is that a wrap?
That's a wrap. I hope y'all have a good time. I think we finished. We finished early. All right, we're going into the domain game. Okay, so this is the time. We'll have to get the timestamp. Billy, go ahead and just throw it up there, like all big on the screen. Like this is the timestamp that we actually start talking about domains. You know what I mean? Like this is it right now. All right, the domain game. And so Shane, man, you gotta. This is where for the audience, for those of you who don't know, the domain game. Each one of the Sherpas is going to talk about a domain and mention a name they either bought or sold recently. We're all going to try and guess what the price was, and whoever's closest gets a point. And winner will get some swag. You know what I mean? And
it's helpful that I've tweeted like 7 million non-domain things, so all my domain stuff get lost, so people don't see anything I've already shared. So you don't have to worry about. I bought one just because I'm thinking about getting into business, but I bought NFTprinter.com.
Ooh,
NFTprinter.com. Lots of possibilities there.
I like that domain. All right, well, we go in order. So Braden, you would be first to guess the price on this thing.
So you bought NFTprinter.com.
Yep, and I'm crypto rich. Don't forget that.
I think you paid.
I have a comment, but I'll wait.
I'm actually not. I've spent it all.
No, I know, but that's going to be part of my comment.
I think you paid $3,400.
3,400. All right, Braden with 3,400. Ammar, what do you think?
Nobody knows me anymore. I've changed.
You have.
I'm going to say 5K.
That was going to be my guess. But it's funny. There's that commercial that like, I'm rich. I'm not rich. You know what I mean? Like it talks about like, and that's literally how you feel at times with crypto, because it's like, oh man, it's all good. We got this. Then it's like, oh no, I got to go back to work. You know what I mean? Drew, I didn't mean to be such a dick on the meeting the other day. I actually do value this job.
Try.
So all right. I think, like I said, 5K was where I would have been at on this. I mean, I think obviously NFTs are still, super hot. NFT printing. I mean, I think this is a, sort of a business project in a box kind of thing. I mean, I think there's a lot of, use here, the idea of like what we've seen, merch drops, by the way, not to cross the streams too much, but actually, you know what? It's going to be too late. By the time this airs, our window's going to be closed on our merch drop. But the winner of today's game is going to get some Ape In merch, because we got our merch drop live with our hoodies, our t-shirts. I can take like a full on custom order, you know what I'm saying? So to raise the stakes a little bit, but I'm going to say 6K. I think again, 5K is where I would have been. I thought that was really, I think it's a good name. I think that people are trying to get top value for their NFT domains at the moment. And, and I think they're probably worth, some of those, that aren't like crazy, but this one's pretty good. So.
All right. Well, there is still value in the game.
Okay.
I paid a GoDaddy auction for $100.
No way. What? Oh, wow. Look at you, man. Look
Boom.
at you.
Daddy still got it. He's still there picking
All
up
right.
the
So
deals.
Braden with the point. That's legit, man. I mean, yeah. Well, I think
couldn't believe it. I put in like $2,000 in the auction and went and play with my moonbirds or something. But I came back and they're all It's
You
in
got
my
you
account
got
for 100.
moonbirds. You got moonbirds.
I got 2 diamond head, baby.
Oh wow!
Or
I didn't.
47 ETH, but that's, I got to save my money for those $100 domains.
I was sleeping on moonbirds. You know what I mean? I just wasn't really paying much attention, and because they had like a welcome list or an allow list or something, right? And there was like, did you get in on that, or what was the?
No, I paid 27 ETH for them, but
Oh, for both combined?
yeah, but the floor, no, oh no, I paid more, but
Oh, you paid like 50 ETH for your 2
oh yeah,
moonbirds,
I like to watch and then get in. I'm not a big,
yeah, no,
I don't like to wait in line to see what's at the end of the thing. I like to see what everybody bought and then buy it from them after they come out of the store.
Yeah, I know. Hey, look, I dig that. You're like, how much for that bag of stuff? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I mean, I love the lines, and I hope everybody in line gets something cool. But when I see they get something cool, I'll just buy it from them because I'm a busy man.
I feel you, man. That's a lot of money to spend. That's a lot of money to spend on some birds.
If you just, again, it's kind of like domains when we first started, right? If you look at what we spent on things, people just think we're crazy. Like you spent that on domains. So to me, I feel like we're in the same cycle. So, and I'll be honest with you, the alpha and the people you meet in domains, it is the same way. Once you're in the game and you get to talk to these brilliant people, it's worth almost what you paid for the domain. And in this case, the NFTs. So I have this diamond headed moon owl. We're in a side chat. There's only 80 people that own them. And you should see the other people that own them. There's some of the biggest people in their spaces, whether it's NFTs or development, or I'm sitting talking to brilliant human beings on the other side. Is it worth $150,000 to meet these people? I'm not sure about that, but it's probably worth 10,000. Just the connections I've made. So there's a little bit more to all this, and we don't need to have a whole show. But domains, it's the same way. I mean, meeting you guys, I've learned so much.
And I think, let's make that point, because I think, so not to drive this off the topic, and onto NFTs, but domains, we say all the time, are a great equalizer, right? We see it with our business. I mean, we speak to some such, really important, smart, connected people on a daily basis that, largely because we have access to these, gems, these digital assets, and we understand the space like not many people do, aside from like you guys and a few others, right? And, and it puts you in the room with people you otherwise wouldn't get access to. So,
Yeah. And the people that are often buying them, sometimes we hear so much about the terrible conversations they have that people think that we're squatters or whatever. But for every one of those, I've met somebody that's a brilliant businessman that can afford hundreds of thousands of dollars to start a business. And then they talk to you and realize you aren't just squatting on a domain, you're an asset investor. And in my case, lots of different types of investors. And so those conversations have led, I wouldn't say friendships, but definitely acquaintances that we talk regularly about certain things. And then they ping me later. Hey, Shane, I sold that domain years ago, but yet they still ping me and say, what do you think about this? Or I'm going to do that. And those conversations, that doorway is open for a lifetime through that sale of the domain. And I think that's super important.
For every squatter, there is a genius. For every Ammar, there is a Braden. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know which one's which. That's what I'm saying. It's like, if you take offense to it, that's on you. If you feel like, oh, motherfucker just complimented me, thank you, also on you. And, but all good. So, all right. Well, but yeah, I think
still value out there if you're hunting.
There is. And I think that's the key thing too. It's just like anything. It takes effort if you're really trying to make things happen without, if you're trying to do anything quick and easy, you're going to spend more money, period. Right. So it's just, that's what it is. If you're going to be willing to do the due diligence, the research, the networking, pick up the phone, send the emails, it's going to ultimately benefit you, especially if you've got a pretty good path and some decent guidance on the way. So, all right, well, let's go. Let's keep it moving. Domain game number 2. We got the next name. Braden, what do you got? Is it a buy? Is it a sell?
I bought a bunch of good names on these, but let's just do a sale. I hate to talk about what I paid for names, just in case.
Yeah. It is. That's a valid point, but
yeah, hey, look,
doesn't mean I'm selling it for less.
You put it in the title and
I know, hey, and then it shows up. I know. Hey, look.
Okay. Let's see. I just sold Cubics, Cubics.com.
Cubics.com. Okay.
That was not the way I would have. That's not the way I would have spelled it. I had it 3 ways in my mind, and that wasn't the one. I had an IX. I had a KS.
Yeah. That's all right though. He sold it. It's cool. All right, Ammar, what do you think?
I'm going to say 25K.
He sold it for 25K. See, I think partially because of sort of what Shane was saying about how, the radio test is a challenge with this one, right? Maybe, maybe not. I think it just depends on, what your context is around the word cubic, you know what I'm saying, and cubics. But I definitely thought of it as an X kind of roadblocks kind of thing. So for me, I think it's more like 10K. I think it's, knowing that, Braden probably bought the name pretty cheap, couple $100. And then, put it as a buy it now, or did what he did, like, put it up there somewhere in that like 99999 range. And that's what I think it sold for. I think it was like, so that's
it's the actual right spelling, which is kind of ironic because we're all thinking about alternate spellings and they're more brandable. I would have thought the IX as well, but the ICS is the correct spelling. So it's, that's why
is a cubic itself a thing? Like it is like, right, is like that a unit of measurement or something? A cubic? Like you're like because the correct spelling. What's that?
It's a shape.
Okay, so the shape is a cube, right? Isn't the shape the cube?
Yeah, but can't something
right?
be
So
cubed?
it's
so that's like describing something as something that has the shape of a cube, right? That is cube shaped is a cubic. Right. So it's not so much a noun, then it's an adjective that is cubic. Something is cubic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the plural?
I think it can be an adjective and a noun.
So what's the plural of it? You know what I'm saying? So I guess my point is this: the correct spelling of a messed up word, you know what I'm saying, is still messed up. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it's all good. I'm not hating. I was just giving some context.
Hey,
I still made a bunch
sold
of money.
it. It's not too messed up.
This is a sale, not a buy. So
exactly.
It's all good. I just, we're just some guys having. It's just between us.
I was using all this information to pick my price, but it didn't help me one bit. Not 1 minute of it helped me pick.
At least it's a real word. I mean, I see sales like Stan can pick. He makes up these words that mean nothing, and he'll talk about the root and like how that's very techie and that's very this, and he sells these names for like $2-3 grand. They're hand regs, and it's just like
yeah.
So,
wait, who are you saying does that?
Stan.
Oh, Stan. Yeah, man, that's what's up, no doubt. But
hold on, I get to pick my price. So we're at 25 and 10. Those are the two. Yeah, I was more in the. I'm gonna close that gap. I'm gonna say 12.5. I know he's not gonna sell it for cheap, but yeah, I'm just gonna say 12.5. It's a name, like it's got that many letters. It works. I never question it.
It's got vowels and hey, it's a .com. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't question anymore.
I guess again, my whole point is the term is cubic, like cubic feet, cubic zirconia, cubic this. I just don't know what the plural of cubic is, if that's actually a word. And this just is me more around just kind of playing a little bit off of Ammar saying, well, it's the proper spelling. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I mean, sure,
Meanwhile, a guy formed his company and named it that, and he can't do anything about it now because it's on every building that he's got up there.
Oh yeah, hey, look, I'm not devaluing the name. I think the name is, even as a brandable, it's kind of cool. Like it's cool. I dig it. It's it's got a vibe. It's got a vibe, man. Let's see how much of the vibe's worth though. How much is that worth? Talk to us. Tell us.
40 grand.
What? Yo, come on, man.
He had more than one building with a name on it.
Come on, man. 40 G's.
And funny thing is, he paid in Bitcoin, and
okay.
At the moment, it's 42 grand.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Oh, hey, that's what I'm saying, man. Like
it was by the time he transferred it, it was like 41,225, something like that. I was like, I'm glad we waited a few hours.
So how much? So what did you acquire it for when you bought it?
I love how I can look it up so quickly.
I was just gonna ask him. I was like, what system do you use? You know what I'm saying? We use like
Why can't you look it up quickly?
No,
because I have 4,000 things up on my desktop and everything. It's there. It just takes me a couple searching to remember what I called it. Like
I paid $3,500 for it. I've had it for 2.5 years.
Fantastic return, you know.
Interestingly, last year, this is related. I sold. How long did I have it? I had it for same amount of time, about 2.5 years. I sold Cubic with a K, Kubic. I picked up both of them.
How can it be with a K if you didn't have a K in that whole word? Cubic with the cubic. Oh, I thought you said cubic with a K.
Oh, here, check this out.
Yeah,
cubic with a C.
Kubic.
Oh,
I've got some pretty interesting. Okay, so this is some shit, and this is because I'm not smart enough, right? So this is why this name has sold for as much as it did.
Well, before you pivot, let me just finish. So last year in October, I sold Cubic for the same amount, 40 grand.
Yeah. Well, so again, here's what's good is that cubics is a way to refer to cubic equations, right? So, you know, when they say, how do you solve cubics, you know, things like that. So that's actually the use of the term in a way. And I think then, you know, when you start pushing it into, you know, now you're talking about, you know, a term that is very tech, right? So, and very, you know, sort of scientific engineering, mathematics, like, and, you know, I think for when you say it's a crypto, you know, like a crypto buyer or something like that, you know, like, then yeah, I mean, I think then it starts to make a lot more sense. And like I said, that's just because I'm an idiot, you know what I mean? So
that's how most of my stuff is.
You know, now it's like
not wrong. I'm just dumb.
I mean, exactly. And you know, so credit to you and credit to all the smart people out there. This was just like when I didn't know that Australia had its own currency. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I'm getting dumber as time goes on. You know what I'm saying? I know the fact that I even reminded y'all, like, why did I have
Why
to
would you do that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here I am.
That actually,
what did you think that they had?
I wouldn't have called you dumb, but the fact that you just said that and reminded us all.
I'm just curious what you think they had.
Because here's what I'm all about. I own like who I am and how I am. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, you know, I flubbed that a bit. You know, it was cool. Like, I'm here for comedic effect at times. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm just keeping it. I'm all about just keeping it real.
But you can still use an 808 with the best of them. So
hey man, look, that's, you know, that's another thing, kids. You don't need to be super smart to make money in domains or in other things. You just gotta like, just go get it. Just go do it. You know,
JT, just know that we're not laughing at you. We're laughing near you.
Yes, exactly. You're laughing in the Zoom room.
You know that old saying, if JT can make it, anybody can make it. That's
exactly. That's the thing. I'm an example for everybody struggling, trying. You know what I mean?
That's what I always told my daughter every time she messed up. I said, listen, it'll be fine. If JT can make it, you can.
Anybody can make it. Anybody. Hey, look, you know, it is.
Back to domains.
But so that's what's up. So cubics. And I think that's it's an option for functions involving solving algebraic equations, and you know, and I think there's just a whole lot of really cool stuff in and around that, and you know, I think, and then that starts to really lean towards some really, really cool other uses and potential branding and other stuff. So makes sense. I think that's a great return for you. This kind of goes back to what Shane said before about spending money on, you know, expensive seeming digital assets. You know, you spent, you know, almost $4,000 on that domain 2 years ago, held it for 2 years. It's like,
35.
It sounds great in, you know, when you talk about the win, like 10X and, you know, there you go, another big payday, you know, one of many for you. But, you know, but you also have to have a decent sized bankroll to be able to invest potentially, you know, thousands, if not tens of thousands into assets that, you know, or you have to have a system that's going to turn them enough so that you continuously like can, you know, fill the funnel, pay the bills and everything else. So, but yeah, so, well, good sale. And so that point goes to Ammar. He was the high man on the totem pole on that one. So, and then right to you, man, what you got by way of a name? A buy or sell? What's up?
We'll do a sell. I sold a .net, which again is rare for me. I have some good ones, but they don't seem to sell. So I sold nowhere.net.
Nowhere.
WARE. I'm just kidding.
NOWEAR.net.
KNOWARE. Nowhere.
And it turns out that's going to be some like, you know, some rocket science type shit that
it's
you know,
a DeFi liquidity pool.
Exactly. Yes.
Worth $1 billion.
It actually redirects to no underwear. .net.
There you go. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like no show underwear.
freeballin.org.
Yeah, no show underwear. That's it. It's clear underwear. Clear underwear. Yo, that's what it is. Nowhere .net sells clear underwear, which is
Yeah, it's
simple.
WEAR. I don't. How do you spell wear? There's so many combos.
Yo,
you're right. In this
clear
case,
underwear.
it's
That's where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Like,
NOWHERE.
I like Shane's freeballin.org. That's my favorite.
all right. Well, me first. So this was a sale, right? Ammar doesn't sell anything, so for him to sell, it has to be, enough.
Unless it's his .net, and he's like, "Hold on, oh my gosh, I just got an offer. Hold on."
I forgot I had this.
This is .net.
Oh, before I go, so Braden, what system do you use? Do you use like an Excel type of thing, or do you use a particular you use FD? Like, what do you use to manage your portfolio?
Spreadsheet.
Spreadsheet.
I just use a Google Sheet. I've tried the portfolio managers in the past, and just don't need it. I also don't have a massive portfolio. I've got like 2,600 names now, or something like that, and it's getting smaller, believe it or not, because I'm getting bigger names. So I'm moving my portfolio the other direction, and it is more than sufficient.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we use Airtable, interestingly, and which is kind of like a spreadsheet sort of on steroids. It's a great tool. We use it for a couple of different aspects of the business, but it's just like Excel, but better. I mean, at the end of the day, there's not much, it's pretty tried and true, Anyway, and
did you create your own special Airtable format, or
it's custom
one?
Yeah, no, it's custom with a bunch of filtering and extensions, and you know what I mean. We did some, and we've got some other things that we do to back it up to who is for expiration dates and things like that, and so it's a little bit more sophisticated than just the out the box. But
FileMaker is a really good database if you can build your own tools. FileMaker is amazing. You can feed all kinds of information, but you got to be able to build it out. It's in the box. It's not plug and play. But
I used FileMaker for years.
Yeah, the new one's really, really good. There was a gap of time in there where it really wasn't competing well, but it's strong. We've been all Apple, so there was some periods of time where we had no choices. FileMaker was the only database, so I use that one. I like it a lot.
Ammar, what about you? Since we might as well close the loop on this little.
Yeah, I'm notoriously disorganized, so
he checks his email.
He's like, I use email and my registrar accounts, basically.
He's got Post-it notes in his wallet.
Yeah, I have a pile of Post-it notes that I'm still.
I use a whiteboard. My whiteboard. I still use a whiteboard to track stuff. I can't. I mean.
No. Hey, no shame in
no shame.
I was like
going to Airtable.
Yeah.
But I was actually thinking of Airtable. I've looked into Airtable in the past, and I was planning on using that because it seems like you can pretty much customize it.
Yeah, it's really
in a lot of different ways. Yeah.
It is. It's like kind of takes a lot of the best of all the Excel and Google Docs and kind of ties it together, and it's definitely cool. So, all right, well, so now you sold nowhere.net, and I think you sold it for $4,999, and because I was kind of into it, because I like just trying to pick the buy it now price, you know what I mean? Because I know that's how this went down.
Yeah.
So it's like, is it a $9,999? Is it $4,999? And maybe they kind of, Shane's whole thing about, oh, you forgot you had it, kind of thing, and then just sold it. And, so I think this was one of those you bought for a couple $100, sold for a couple $1,000. I'm going to stick with it. I'm instantly regretting not saying that you sold it for more because I just said you don't sell a lot of names, but it is what it is. It's in the books. Let's go, Shane.
I'm going to say 6,800. I'm the same thing. I think it was more like somebody hit it. Maybe it's a negotiation, but I'm going to say 6,800 because these guys are all big players, right? I would have let it. I pay up for .nets if it's a good one, so I'm a buyer.
It's a good domain. I mean, I like the name a lot. I think it's cool. Like it's a nowhere as a phrase. I mean, this is and for everybody's benefit. I'm not the most analytical, especially when we're doing these kinds of things. Like, if I'm looking at a domain for real, like I'll go ahead and look at all the analytics and the stats and stuff. I don't do that for the purposes here. So for me, it's just gut. But I do like the name. I don't know how many people are out there using the term nowhere with respect to their business and things like that. But You know, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm 6,800. I'm sticking with that.
I'm going to over because, you know, Ammar's got diamond hands, right?
Yeah.
Although he'll sell when he thinks that you know, if he didn't get a lot of inquiries, he'll sell it. But I'm still going to take the over 7,500.
Pressure makes these diamond hands. All right.
9,900.
You know, I mean, like I said, I instantly regretted it. I figured that was right there in the pocket. Braden took advantage of it and took the fucking layup. That's good. Braden wins. Congratulations, Braden. Let's finally.
Funny thing is, I was going to say 9,888. That was the number that popped in my head, but then I was like, I'll just take the
Why? Just take the over, the squeeze.
Yeah.
But all good. All right, cool. How much did you pay for it? And you know, give us some details.
He paid $300.
I paid like $250, I think, a few years back, and
there it is.
And it was just a bin. It was a bin by now, so no negotiation.
Yep. How long do you have it?
About 2 or 3 years.
17 years when .net was rolling.
Hey,
right.
No.
I won it in a GoDaddy auction, I think in 2018 or 2019.
And I think that, but .net's, I mean, it's you know, as a TLD, it's interesting. You know, we obviously spend a lot of time now in crypto and the NFT space. We see so much activity going there. We definitely see people a lot more willing now. XYZs are doing really, really well in that space. .ios are doing very, very well in the space. You know, orgs kind of have their spot. Nets are just kind of, you know, they are truly like this, you know, sort of like the stepchild. You know what I mean? They're really like, kind of occasionally they come through, and otherwise it's like they're almost like forgotten about at this point, you know. So
but people know when you tell them .net, they do remember that. I will say, you know, there's a couple of telecommunication companies that still have emails on .net. I can't remember which one, but every time which one is it?
All of them.
Yeah,
but seriously, all the big utilities do.
So people, I can't remember one, but anyway, I'll see the newsletter and I'm always surprised how many .nets are in the emails still. So it's in the mind of people, and I think that there's a lot of value there, but I wouldn't, you know, I'm not going to go out and start preaching the gospel, but when it comes to the major TLDs, it's by far the best value at the bottom, in my opinion. But I'm not going to say go spend all your money there. I think .org too is really making a resurgence. I think a lot of companies are feeling comfortable using the .org as their company name. So I'm seeing
and that's a great segue because we do have at least 2 .orgs in the NameJet list. So let's go ahead and congratulations again to Braden. We're going to move this along. All of a sudden I'm looking at the clock and realizing I know we're a little bit tight. So we got to, as often happens when we get to this point. So we're going to take a quick break, jump to commercial. And then when we come back, we're going to be here live, Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains, getting into the NameJet Gonna Jet segment here on Domain Sherpa Review. We'll be right back.
Media Options is the industry's leading domain broker specializing in domain acquisitions, high-value domain sales, and domain name consultation. As pioneers and thought leaders on the subject of the domain aftermarket and domain name value, plus through their clear domain acquisition service, Media Options offers startups and established corporations an unparalleled scope of high-value domain options, providing access to domain names and curation technologies not available elsewhere. Media Options believes in the power of a great domain name and is dedicated to helping you obtain yours. Call or email today to put a domain to work for you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We are here on Domain Sherpa. It's a Domain Sherpa review. We're about to get into the NameJet Gonna Jet segment, sponsored by our friends at NameJet. I'm gonna do the thing with my shirt, even though I'm not wearing the NameJet shirt today. But it's what happens when I'm on the road. You know what I mean? I forgot. I didn't even think to pack it. You know. But all right. So we've got the NameJet list. We've got 15 names. So we'll go in. I think we have an order somewhere on the list. The rule that we've been doing, guys, is like you take how many names, you divide it by 3, and that is the maximum number of names that you can talk about, because we don't want to leave it to a scenario where by the time it gets to whoever's the last one, they got to pick like one of like, you know, I mean, they might get what's left, but at least they get some names to talk about. All right. Who do we say? I had it in the email. Do y'all? Okay, we said Ammar. It's going to start with you. So let's go.
Right. So, I mean, the obvious name on here that's fantastic is the VIP.org. I definitely like that name, and so I would definitely be bidding on that one. The one I wouldn't be touching is reggiebush.com, because of obviously some people.
Yeah, no.
like
Well,
those
let's
kind of
talk about
names.
that
I don't
because
like them.
no. I put there. I saw it pop up. I put it on the list on purpose because I think this is an important topic to kind of talk through a little bit so that people have a general sense of like what to do when they see famous people's names show up in domains and they think, oh, is this a good idea to buy it or not, right? So, all right, but before 30 quick seconds, just so people know, go to the Domain Sherpa site. You can download the spreadsheet for all the domains. There's 15 names on the list today. It's got the Esteban appraisal, which we don't necessarily endorse, but it's a data point. Back orders, how many days left, how many back orders as of the time that we're taping the show, how many days left until the end of the back order period from the time the show airs. Keep in mind, these are all expiring domains at NameJet, which means in order to participate, they're private auctions. You have to have a back order in before the end of the back order deadline. So when you see days left, you got to go, if these names are interesting and you haven't already put your back order in, go put a back order in so that you can participate in the auction. We've also got links to the auctions themselves, some other data points, including minimum bid and CPC and some other stuff. So please go ahead and grab that list so you know, and hopefully that helps. So, all right, Reggie Bush. So, we all know Reggie Bush, football player, played at USC, then had a career at the Saints, I think the Dolphins, a few
Took
other
a little
teams.
money while he played before the NIL.
That's true. He did. You know what I'm saying? Don't hate the player, hate the game. You know what I'm saying? And we're not going to get into a tangent about college athletes and how they should be probably getting paid anyway. You know what I mean? I don't want to go there, but I will bang that drum and say that is how I do believe that NILs are good because at the end of the day, these kids who are driving so much, value.
Well, Reggie Bush agrees with you.
So as he should, you know what I'm saying? He took advantage of the scenario. It is what it is. Anyway, speaking of college athletics, Jay Wright just retired. Big shout out to Jay Wright. It hurts me as a Villanova fan because, how do you replace him? But anyway, all right, sorry. That's like 4 tangents in a row. Reggie Bush. So tell me, you would not touch the Reggie Bush domain. Why?
I just don't like those kind of names, right? I don't want to. There's obviously one perfect buyer for it. Now I'm sure there's other people named Reggie Bush, but there's one obvious buyer, and I don't know. I just don't like those kind of names. I kind of think those are the kind of names that give us a bad name. And clearly you're buying it for the notoriety of the football player, right? So that's why I don't want to touch it. I don't know. I actually don't know if there's a problem with owning that name. But I just don't play in that space.
Well, I think that if you're talking about from a trademark standpoint, right? So if I'm going to put on my IP lawyer hat, I mean, I think as you get into famous people, right? Technically, trademarking a name of a non-famous person is not an issue, right? You can't really have a trademark in a name that has no, sort of consumer recognition, if you will, right? But once you start getting into famous people and you start trying to use their likeness and their name, and that's their IP, and especially if you're utilizing it for commercial purposes, you can find yourself in some trouble. So yeah, I think that's where you do need to also be careful, because if you want to have a fan site, right, you love Reggie Bush and you just want to post up a blog where you talk about all his accolades and his highlights and things, but if you try to monetize that, then things are going to start to, you're going to run into a bit of an issue there. So
you could run into an issue anyway. Like the issue is that somebody files a UWP or sues you and you have to defend it. Right? And so is it worth it for a fan site? Really? How much are you going to spend defending the domain on a fan site? Nothing. Right? So, it's not a matter of necessarily right or wrong. It's a matter of you're begging for some trouble.
Yeah.
And Reggie Bush, when you use a celebrity's name as a domain, it is a trademark infringement. People are like, no, but there could be. Yeah, there could be, except there is that one celebrity. Yeah. Right. And therefore they're going to come after you and they will probably win. And you could try to play off like, oh, it's going to be a fan site. How much money are you going to spend defending that? Don't buy it.
Yeah. No. So I think
it does. Ammar's right. It gives us a bad name. If you buy a celebrity's name, you're a squatter, and we don't want to be squatters. We want to be legitimate investors, right?
Yeah. No, I think that's fair, you know. So I think that's a good. Again, that's why I included the name on the list, because I think it would drive good conversation and some good topics around this. So, but yeah, so I think that the answer is you know you've got to be careful, and like you said, especially if you've got one sort of famous person that you're trying to target. You know, there's also a difference between first names, last names. But if you're talking about somebody's full name and they are a known person, and you don't have that name yourself, then you know you really need to avoid it, because you're ultimately going to set yourself up for, you know, there's limited upside and a lot of potential downside. So, but that would actually be a good show. We should probably do an IP show sooner than later with a few of the, you know, you've got such great IP lawyers in the space, you know, have them on the show and talk about some of these specific sort of issues and stuff. So, man, I'm gonna make a note. So, all right, cool. What else, Ammar? You like, don't like? Talk to me.
So, yeah, so I said I like VIP.org. I like homefresh.com and bank. With it, I know it has an E at the end, but I kind of like that. So those are the ones that I'd be going for, depending on, you know, the price, what it goes to.
Sure. Yeah, I think the bank name is interesting. Bank with an E, so it's like bank, you know, or something. But yeah, I mean, I think to me, I think that one's cool. Another one I also
it sounds French or German or
yeah, sophisticated. So, and you're freezing on me a little bit. I don't know if that's just me or you guys see the same thing, Shane and Braden.
Yeah, a little glitchy.
If that was my connection or yours. So, all good though. All good. All right.
It's probably the hotel Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Hey, man. You know, we just so the audience knows, we do whatever we can to make this work for y'all, to bring you guys this content. All right, who's up? Who's up next? Shane, you're next on the list, man. You're next.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement. I think Home Fresh is my favorite, just a nice brand. And again, it gets down to opportunity to sell the name. That's why I don't like first or famous people, because the opportunity is to one person or maybe a couple fans. So Home Fresh, beautiful name. I don't know if there's trademarks on it. I haven't looked at that. You know, VIP is obviously easy one. Meta strategy, it's hard to go against any meta name right now. It's probably depending on the price that you get it, but the terms sell. They really sell. I don't broker many names, but I brokered a couple names for people, and I tell them I only take names with meta in it. And those are the 3 broker names that I've ever done have been meta names. So I'm 100% with meta names as far as sales. But I do like that one. Is it special? No, but MetaStrategy sounds like a cool name, a cool Web3 name. I mean, 3letter.com, KVQ, those are tough letters in general to get. But I do think there's been some deals in 3letter.coms because everybody's concentrating on cool words and fun alternative TLDs. And I think the 3letter.coms, there's been a couple of good buys slipping through with some bad letters, and it's still a 3letter.com. And there's lots of languages that use letters that we don't use. So Q is obviously more used in other languages than we would use at the end. I don't know what you use for quality. I wouldn't be the last word, but there's something in there. You know, I think the build out names, like I like affiliate leads. I'm sure Braden will love that. And there's possibilities there. It's just, I just don't want more work. So when I see a name that really requires work to hear it's hit some potential, which is, I guess, all domain names in general. But I look at that one and I don't want to sell game consoles. I don't want to sell affiliate leads. I know their value. I know that those are big industries. It's just names I'm not going to mess with, almost too generic. I'm looking for names with personality. So that's the ones I like. I noticed that the bids of midge, I'm sure, I don't use the word midge, but I think I know what a midge is, but it seems to be a pretty good 5letter.com. I have to look more into exactly what it means.
Yeah. So no, you named a lot of names. I think you maybe kind of pushed right up on that threshold. You know what I'm saying? And which is okay. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? You haven't been on the show in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's all good.
Well, it's the same one.
The buzzer. So yeah, and there's a lot to unpack there. So let's just start with so midge. What does midge even mean? You know, I saw it. I thought it was like, I kind of think of smidge. You know, like, is it a small something? Like, I mean, you know, I know that I'm actually Googling it now. So small two-winged fly, often seen in swarms near water or marshy areas, where it breeds. You know what I mean? So it's basically like a horsefly or something, as a midge. And then, there's the term, midget, which, means small or small person. I think it's actually kind of, it's a
No bueno.
it's an inappropriate use. It's an inappropriate word, right? It's like basically almost a slur at this point. So it ends up being somewhat of a negative name there, right? I don't know. So let's talk about that for a second. Is it the underlying words being negative and, hurt the value? I mean, who
now that you say it, but I actually didn't even think of that until you brought that up. So now that you say it, I don't like it as much.
Yeah. Or, you could think of it like midge, like a nickname for like Marge or Madge, you know what I mean? Something like that, maybe. So like a female kind of like, but I think of it more like, a woman in like a house coat, frumpy kind of midge, old, like English kind of, sort of nickname for like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. These are just like the ramblings that go on. I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking.
Well, it's got 58 back order, so somebody's got an idea.
People are into it, you know what I'm saying? So
Midge was released by Mattel back in 1963 as a less sexy Barbie.
See, there you go. That kind of flows into my like thought about, sort of Marge, you know what I'm saying?
And Barbie was sexy.
Hey, somebody had to chill Barbie out. You know what I'm saying? We gotta like, somebody's like, hey, I have an idea. These Barbie dolls that are iconic and completely taking over the world, and every girl wants to play with. Let's come up with let's try to downgrade a little bit there and try and
let's make a doll that's not so fucking hot.
Let's capture the market of kids that want to play with dolls that aren't,
60s though, huh? Maybe that's where I know it. I mean, honestly, I remember they had those alternative dolls to Barbie because everybody was competing in that.
Yeah, Ken, they're like, yo, we need to come up with some other. What's the non-Ken doll? You know what I'm saying? It was like, looks more like me.
I think it was Midge. Now that you mentioned, yeah, I remember. My mom had a whole collection of those.
No way.
Yeah, she still has them all in a little closet type box with all from the 60s.
Damn, son. See, you're going way back. All right, cool. So, and then, you touched on some things. Well, let's let, Braden kind of speak on affiliate leads, since I think this is kind of, right up his alley. What do you think about that one, Braden?
Well, I mean, we could just look at the CPC and that'll tell the story.
Yeah.
CPC, $8.18.
Yeah.
Far and away the highest CPC of anything on this list. Second one being green energy at $3.15, and then everything else is like $1 or less.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually like 5 cents, 10 cents. So look, the thing is that leads is a big space. The affiliate world's a big space. Put them together, affiliate leads. So not a ton of searches. SERPs are high at 90,000. But it's a good name for that world. It's just not generic, right? It's kind of a exact match for the affiliate world.
Okay.
So I think it's got some value in that space, but it's probably a long hold, right? Like the legal names, like all these legal names I have.
Yeah.
I get good margins when I sell them. It just takes me forever.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. We don't do a lot of affiliate stuff, and we do some, obviously SEO and some PPC stuff, but, we don't live in the affiliate world a ton, Commission Junction and some of these other big companies that kind of, sort of all up in that space. So I'm not an expert, but, I actually wouldn't look at affiliateleads.com as a specialized type of name. I would look at that as more of a generic, because to me, affiliate lead seems like a big old bucket, you know what I mean? Just sort of cast a big net. But so I think that's an interesting point. So all right. So what do you think that name sells for then at NameJet?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's so targeted. I don't think a lot of people are going to bid on it. Well, unless they watch the show, and then they will. And
then they're like, oh, CPC over $8, I'm in.
It's probably going to go for $2 or $3 grand. The question is, will you be able to get the margin on it?
Yeah.
Can you sell it for 20 or 30? That's the question. Maybe.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think
I think, you know, a lot of these auctions are overpriced. I mean, you know, I've got the perspective of doing this for, you know, over 15 years, and the margins just aren't there. So there's a lot of investors like, wow, if I could pay, you know, $3,000 for this and sell it for 6, great, I'll double my money. Well, except it doesn't really pencil out that way, because you need hundreds of thousands of names, and you need a much bigger spread because you do have holding costs. And so, you know, that's why we're targeting more like 10x on these names. It's not a guarantee that you're going to double your money in a year. You know, it might take you 10 years or 15 years to sell that name, and there's no guarantee. So I think that's where some of the new domainers kind of go awry, is, you know, the margins that they expect. And after a few years and they haven't really sold much, you know, 1% sell through maybe, but they've spent a ton of money and they just haven't sold enough to make it worthwhile because they don't have enough spread.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And I can't tell though if you know, I mean, I think you're definitely educating, but are you also trying to sandbag this name? You're like, nah, this name's more than anything. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But no, I think that's.
If I was, I wouldn't be talking about it.
No, hey, you got me hating the name. I'm like, I'm never buying this name. I'm gonna take my bid off the name. I wouldn't even pay $69 for it. No, I think that's, you know, those are all good points, and I think it is important when you look at, and this is, you know, when we look to acquire names from a business standpoint, or even from, you know, my portfolio standpoint, more often than not, it's like you have to do the analysis to understand, like, what, you know, who are you targeting with this, right? It's easy to look at a lot of these domains and think, oh, these are all great names and they're worth more than, you know, what I might pay for them, right? But you know, when you start to put it together where you've got it on a per domain basis, look and see like, well, all right, what do your targets actually look like? How many companies are using this name? You know, doing the searches on Coinbase or Crunchbase and LinkedIn and, you know, Google, and looking at the analytics of the domain itself, and then further putting that into an actual budget and a business plan, right? To make sure that that's a sustainable, not just throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, you know? So I think that is, you know, sort of a word of caution to anybody that is just getting into domaining, that it's like, yeah, look, there's plenty of big paydays to be had, but it's a process. I mean, a lot of times it's a long journey to tie the, you know, these are liquid assets. They are valuable and they continue to grow in value. And, you know, and macro trends have continued to drive value up domains. But, you know, nothing's easy. If everything was easy, everybody be doing it. So yeah, no, I think that's good. Word of caution and all that. Shane, you mentioned metastrategy.com. I think that name could be, like you said, I think any meta name like that, I think that's probably going to do well. Looking at the 3character.com that you mentioned, KVQ. Most recently, something to compare it to on NameJet, we saw there was a 3-character that sold recently, which was ODC, which are obviously much better letters, sold for about $60,000. I think it was like a week ago.
Yeah, it's no ODC.
No, it's no ODC. Old dirty.
KVQ is not.
That's a good price for
ODC. Yeah. Those are top
60
top
Gs.
letters.
Not retail, but a wholesale price. That's high.
Yeah. Oh no, I would agree. I think that's well, it depends, right? But yes, I think they're great letters. It's not a cheap price to pay for a domain. I mean, that's a lot of money to put on the sidelines, you know, while you're waiting. But ODC is a great combination of letters. So. And just looking at some of these others, recently, reg.org sold for $15,000. I really like that name a lot. I thought that was great. I think you've got VIP.org here. I think that could be. You think VIP.org sells for more or less than reg.org at $15K?
Oh, more, no question.
Okay. All right, well, something to look at too. And then what other names, anything else? I mean, I think we've kind of touched. I love greenenergy.org. I think that's one of those, we talk a lot on the show about, you know, matching the what's to the right of the dot to the left of the dot. And obviously when we talk about some of the actual new GTLDs, you know, that's very relevant and pertinent. But I do love when the .orgs, when you get domains that are like really well situated and suited for a .org. I think something like greenenergy.org is fantastic. You know, I think if you look at the actual, you know, since we are actually talking about looking at the analytics, I mean, you know, that's the second highest number of searches behind VIP. It's got that $3 and change CPC.
There's a reason Braden didn't talk about it. I know that.
That's a great one. I mean, I think that might be and now I'm like, oh, should I not say anything?
Yeah.
I do think that might be my favorite on the list altogether, based on just the name and where I think it might end up, like, landing by way of the actual auction. But yeah, so yeah, definitely good stuff in there. All right, cool. Well, anything else to cover? Any other thoughts or whatever? I know we've got about 4 or 5 minutes left total, and we'll give you guys a couple minutes on grand closing. But anything else on the list?
So that nobody thinks I'm sandbagging any of these names. Bank was mentioned. So bank is not just a different spelling of the word bank. Bank is with an E, is like a sandbank. Also, I think it means like tapping or to bank off or something.
Also a name.
Oh, to hammer, to beat,
and it's a last name as well. So it does have more uses. And I think
it's a problem.
although I'd have to look this up, I think it does mean like a financial institution in other languages.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what.
Yeah, and it's a province in Nepal. It's it's a hotel in Paris, the Hotel Bank. But
I want a word of caution though. There's a lot of people like, oh, oneword.com, and they throw a bunch of money at it. Not all oneword.coms are equal.
Yeah.
And so, this while it is one word, it is not like a super generic one word. It's not, I wouldn't call this necessarily an empty vessel. I mean, I like it, but it's probably going to go for more than it should. Somebody's going to,
the biggest knock
get up to like 10 grand or something, and it shouldn't.
Yeah, the biggest knock on this at the end of the day is that you've got to consistently, it's the radio test. You have to qualify it when someone says, okay, what's your domain name, or where do I find you? What's your email address? And you're like, oh, it's Braden at bank with an e.com. You know what I mean? So it's like with an e is like, so I think that by itself is going to be the kind of thing that's going to knock it down significantly. But I do think it's interesting when you look at what the name means and all of the potential uses. There's a lot there. It's just like all the names that we talk about, they're all worth more than a minimum bid. It's just at what point do they become not worth buying and having to hold, and and all of that good stuff. But but I think that's a super interesting one. I think it's going to do well as well. So all good points. So with the final 3 minutes, then that is our name check and a jet segment. With the final 3 minutes, let's just run through quick through the team just to see if you guys have anything else to talk about that we haven't covered. I think order-wise of that, I think we say we're going to start with Braden with you. You got anything else to mention, to promote, to talk about?
The planning has started for NamesCon. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
I'm not looking forward to August in Austin. That part, not so much. But we'll be indoors, and it's gonna be good to get together with all our old peeps and press some flesh and see each other in person again.
Yeah. What are the dates? Do we have that on hand? Somebody? Do I have to Google that? Always like to promote that. It is the #1 event in the space, and definitely looking forward to seeing everybody. August 31st to September 3rd. So in Austin, Texas, deep in the heart of Texas.
Same exact week as Burning Man.
Oh, nice.
So
we'll
put that out there. So I am not going to go to Burning Man. I had to have a conversation with my wife. I'm not going to Burning Man this year.
There's no glamping will be had. Well, maybe you guys can glamp out in Austin and pretend it's Burning Man. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
We'll set up a whole kind of thing. We'll get Chad out there. You know what I'm saying? He'll be like, we'll try to recreate the magic. You know what I'm saying?
Chad will probably be a Burning Man.
Yeah, he probably will.
He won't be a name.
FaceTime me from and he's like naked running around, like waving streamers and stuff, like just living his best life. So you've
obviously not been to Burning Man.
I mean, I get a general sense of what's up. I have to avoid some of that kind of stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just not my jam. I burn too easy, my skin. You know what I'm saying? So it's I can't be out in the desert, man. No sunblock on all sorts of shrooms.
You can wear sunblock and you don't have to do shrooms.
Yeah, but then what you going for? What are you doing? What are you doing there?
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
You and I have to talk about what Burning Man actually is.
Exactly.
There's 75,000 people that show up. There's a little bit of everything. You can.
Oh, I'm all about it, man. Look, it's all good. It's like Coachella, but like on a couple extra hits of acid.
I'm leaving tomorrow morning for Coachella.
Let's go. All right. Well, that's what's up. NamesCon 2022. Can't wait to see everybody there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to the auction. Monty and the team always does a great job. Always have a lot of fun participating in that. And so definitely looking forward to all of it. All right, cool. So next up on our list, order-wise, I'm just trying to stick to the script.
Ammar, are you not going to Coachella?
No, but it's kind of ironic that you mentioned Burning Man because one of the couples we were with on our trip last week are burners. They go every year, and I've never been, and they invited us to go this year, and they do it up nice. But I think I'll probably be in Austin, I assume, but I don't know. I've never been, so it might be. I may have to try it out.
Well, you can go.
I'll let you know how it is, JT.
Let me know, man. You let me know. Tell me if it's like, I just envision a lot of dust clouds, a lot of drugs, maybe a little bit of music, people just vibing, which is okay. That's not a bad thing.
No.
I went to a Dead show. I went to a Dead show back in the day. That was crazy. You know what I'm saying?
It's not, dude. We'll talk about this because that's not.
This
is not going to be the burning Sherpa right now, but
the burning Sherpa. Let's go. Hey, let's do a dedicated show and talk about some festivals and some music and some things. You know what I mean? Let's let people know what's up.
All right, Ammar, you can go with this next year.
I'm all about it, man.
Okay.
Shane.
So if we miss this year, then we'll go next year.
But no Coachella, huh? Even Merlin flew in from Brazil. He flew in yesterday.
That I believe.
Did he fly in on a Metasaur?
No, they died.
Oh,
they're extinct.
Oh, dude, my man Braden just dropped a hammer, man. Boom, there you go. All right, so last but certainly not least, Shane, what else? What do you got, man? Anything we missed about you and your life, and anything else you got going on?
You can go to Shane Culture at my Twitter, Doc's Twitter account. That's pretty much what's going. Somebody told me on the blog, he was like, "You always talk about what you do after you do it on the blog." I'm like, dude, I put everything live on too much on Twitter. I mean, if I eat a sandwich, I put it on there. Whatever I buy, I take a picture of it and snap it.
I'm just saying, you eat a sandwich on the toilet, in the bathroom.
In the bathroom.
At work.
Peanut butter.
That's the only place you can get some peace and quiet. Right. Okay.
See? Exactly.
I just rather not eat.
No, I keep a clean bathroom. I clean the toilets. That's a sacred place. It stays clean. Matter of fact, I switched over from brick to concrete stain because brick in a bathroom is stupid ridiculous to be in a bathroom as far as cleaning. Who in the world? It's like putting carpet. But anyway, no, I do everything live. I do everything live on Twitter if you want to follow the millions of crazy ass things I do. But I will say most of the stuff I touch turns out pretty good. I've been pretty fortunate. Not everything, but percentage wise in NFTs and I do have a project with Joe Ruiz. We're doing Toda. It's still coming along good. We got can't say what we talked about this morning, but we got a lot of good stuff. It's a slow process. It's not like the old school. The world doesn't work like it did 6 months ago in NFTs. It's you have to build a business. You got to get art. You got to get people. So it's a real business. It's been really fun, and people are being a little bit more patient with these things now, trying to see what's going to happen. You're not just selling pictures anymore. There has to be something behind it. So I think it's really exciting, and I love like I started this whole thing. I love working with talented people. It doesn't matter what they do or where they do it. Just seeing the brilliance of people in their own realm is amazing. From artists to web, everybody's great at something, and I love hearing what that's about from people, seeing what they're great at.
For sure. Yeah, no, I mean, that's one of the great things about Web3, all of the collaboration, sharing, getting exposed to new art, new artists. new stuff. Obviously the tech and the investing aspects of it are cool too. And, but it's a wild, wild thing. And I think, Joe Ruiz, super talented. I love the art on the Tota stuff, the NFT Worlds play, everything that you guys are doing is really, really cool. So, and that's what's up. So, all right, cool. Well, look, guys, this was great. Braden, you need to let me know which swag you want, because I think I owe you like multiple items of gear.
A box is coming someday.
So
just send me one of everything.
One of everything. We got
that's what you owe me.
Yeah, make sure it's baby doll small too.
Hey, no, he moved up to a medium, man. We got the medium for him. It's all good. It's all good. All right, look, man, I appreciate you guys. It was a great show. It was great having Shane back. Always great seeing Braden and Ammar. Appreciate everything that you guys are willing to share with everybody. Looking forward to the next one. And as I say in every show, thank you to you guys, the audience, for being here. Without you, there's no us. You want to know anything, questions, comments, good, bad, just hit us up. We're not hard to find. Twitter, comment on the blog, all that good stuff. You can find all of these guys also in cyberspace doing their thing. And so thanks again. Everybody enjoy, and we'll catch you next time here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Peace out.